Morning. It's 10 to 6, I think. A bit of an unsettled sleep last night. My mouth is full of blood, so I'm just gonna clean my teeth and stuff in the bathroom. Right, in a bit. It's an appetizer for my breakfast. This is Octride, which I got out of the fridge earlier. I try and get a little tip for you if you are having an injection. Try and get it at room temperature, because that's the temperature of your blood. So yeah, this is a little subcut that I put in my alternate thigh first thing in the morning, and this stops or reduces any diarrhea, flushing, stomach cramps and so on. When I was in A&E last Monday, I took about 4 of these during the day for 4 days. So yeah, I'm just gonna get this to room temperature, then I'm gonna inject it. Oh, bit of Hugh's leg first thing in the morning. Right, yeah. Subcuts get the air out the injection are normally easy. And there we are. Fast forward this bit. Plug it into my charger. I'm not awake. Is he? Okay. To the sign and back this morning. That's the 3rd time in a row, which I haven't been able to do for a couple of months. Got these little things here now, look. Aren't they cute? Yeah, so, and then have a shower. My 3rd shower in a row. Sounds mental, but I can go days where I'm just too knackered. So yeah, in a bit. To go anywhere. Just waiting for Caris to get out of the shower, then I'll go for my shower. I've got, it's my plan today. That is the Winnie the Pooh Lego house. That was just like that. That was next to me on the sofa in April for 3 weeks, just sitting there, and I just didn't have any thought or anything. I was zoned out, brain fog and everything. So that's my little plan today to keep my mind activated. It gets quite warm now, so we've been out for a walk, and you can feel it getting hot. I tend to wear clothes. I tend to wear loose clothes, just because if I feel a bit contained in what I'm wearing, I'll flush, sort of thing. So there we are, and that's almost 8 o'clock in the morning. And look how much we've done. So yeah, in a bit. So we're just checking my INR, which is the thickness of my blood. Just waiting for, there we go. That needs to be between 2.5 and 3.5, yeah? So let's have a look. It's bleeding a bit, so I think it's in range. 2.3, no it's not. So my INR, which is the thickness or the thinness of my blood, is 2.3, as you saw. It needs to be ideally, well, between 2.5 and 3.5. I take tablets, I'll be taking them for the rest of my life, called warfarin, and these regulate your blood levels, if they're thick or they're thin. Then we adjust those depending on how thick or thin my blood is. But because it's thin, I'll have to go to the surgery to get a Klaxin injection subcut in my stomach. Now, the reason why I can't do it at home is whenever I put it in, it's got like a kick, it's got like a smart, it's like a bee sting, so you instantly take your hand away. But if somebody else is doing, you can just close your teeth and just go, oh fuck, sort of thing. So Caris will email the nurse, and then I'll get a time to go down to the surgery, which in a sense is good because it'll keep me awake. When I went in for my Klaxin yesterday, I did find it, I felt quite odd, and I was flushing because I had my mask on. So I'm not going to wear my mask unless it's a requirement, because that causes me to have difficulties breathing, and then I flush, which can get a carcinoid syndrome, sort of thing. So yeah, that's what I'll be doing today, is going for another injection. That's me showered. That's 3 days in a row. tomorrow, if I have another shower, that's the most amount of showers I've had consecutively for the year. It may sound really small to most of you watching this, but yeah, a huge win. As I always say, never measure your goals with other people's rulers. Remember that. So yeah, I watched the Brian Tracy video last night. I used to watch loads of his stuff for sales and motivation and that kind of stuff, because I think self-help's something that you need to do consistently, just because it just gets your brain on the right pathways. And it was a great video which I've used. It's, you write a list of 10 things that you want, but you write it as if it's actually happening. So I am healthy, I am, you know, this, I am happy, I am, you know, as if it's in the first person. But then you look at the one out of the 10 that really jumps out at you, circle that, write that on another piece of paper in the middle, and then arrows out, 10 arrows out. You haven't got anything on there yet. And just write down ways that will help you get to that. So mine's healthy, although I've got inoperable stage 4 cancer. My heart isn't working as it should do yet, but my day-to-day quality of life, I can work on ways to improve it before the fatigue sets in for the day and after the fatigue happens. So yeah, that's the plan. We're in day 2 of these videos. Last month I planned on doing the same. I tailed off after day 1. So if I edit this, then I'm already ahead of the game compared to last month. But there we are, right, in a bit. So I've just come off the phone to my professor's secretary in Liverpool for my tumours, and especially getting my CT scan. I'm 20 months into diagnosis, and they were originally going to put me on a 12-month CT scan review, but I think because I'm still fledgling into it, especially the amount of stress on the body with the open heart surgery, palpitations, and just how the body is, I requested that we get the CT scan still every 6 months, so which was April, which is past. So what happens is they send a letter, an email to the surgery in Pwllheli and to Bangor Hospital. In between that, they haven't received the first lot, so you chase it up. I'm not one of these people that will sit about. It comes from a sales background. I phone up and just ask and just get in people's ears, not annoying people, not putting them off the day-to-day work, but just chasing it up. And I think because it's life sensitive, time is a killer. If there's any growth or there's any disparity within my body, then the sooner a second fallback treatment can start, well then that's good on all levels. So I phoned Bangor this morning first to see if there was news with the CT scan. Spoke to somebody there who said that the doctor, Dr. Gerber, is now a registrar. This happened the last 2-3 weeks, and he doesn't do it anymore. I think she said it's the manager of it is the Dr. Sutton, and Dr. Mustafa, who will be looking after all of this, is under him. in hospital world, I'm a file. There's thousands of patients, the files, all over. We're just files. So it is a case, even if you're fatigued, shit, rough, of chasing it up. And I think, when it is your life, you do. So I spoke with the secretary there. She said it'd take a couple of days to get my notes, which I thought was quite odd because there's duplicate notes in Bangor of me, and there's several doctors, consultants within Bangor Hospital who can issue a CT, especially time sensitive with inoperable stage 4 patient of cancer. So I then phoned back to my professor's secretary in Liverpool, who was really helpful. Gave her the email address and the telephone number of the secretary that I spoke to there, and asked if there was any ways to fast track it, because we're now on the 2nd of June. So my last CT scan was November. So that's December, January, February, March, April, May, June. 7 months. So it's one of those. So my next phone call is the heart surgeon nurses, because I had an ECG machine fitted down my neck for 48 hours 3.5 weeks ago. Still haven't had any results from that. That's potentially going to be a defib on the heart to shock it, or a change in meds. The issue with the meds is it makes me fatigued. It slows the heart down, but it also slows me down. And with the tumours tiring me out, the lack of nutrients being absorbed by my body, the less things that can fatigue me, the better. So the case of having a defib, which I'm a bit concerned about, not because it's a defib, but I'll need to be on a, the little subcut thing you saw me doing this morning. I'll need to be on a drip of one of those, or lanatride. I'm not quite sure if it's the lanatride or the octride, in case whenever they do shock me, I get a carcinoid crisis, which would potentially, if it's a bad one, give me a stroke or kill me. And it's Wednesday. So anyway, back, sit on the sofa, phone the cardiac nurses to see what the results are, and then go to the surgery in Pwllheli for my injection, Maclexane, to up my INR. Yeah, there we are. Can't see the wood for the trees. I've just got back from surgery where I had my Maclexane injection. This morning I had my INR done, and my blood is low, so it's thicker, potentially clotting, which you don't want in heart valve. So I've been had that injection. Before I went, the nurse, my NET specialist nurse, which is my tumours, she phoned up and she recommended, after the carcinoid crisis that put me in A&E last Monday, that I have, the octride scan, octride thing that I showed you this morning that I put in my leg. If I take a 200 milligram of that 3 times a day, just to control the flushing, because when I went to town then, or even sitting in the car first, it was like quite peculiar and quite a bit of discomfort. So I've only got 100 milligrams of these. So at the moment, I'm going to have to do 2 in the morning, 2 at night, sorry, 2 in the morning, 2 at lunch, 2 at night in my leg, which is quite a lot of work in the leg. So we're just looking now to see if there is a 200 milligram, so I can just do one leg. I also inquired about my results from the ECG, 48 hours ECG, and they've had it since the 24th of May in the surgery, but nobody's picked it up, sort of thing. What tends to happen, if there isn't anything that needs doing, then they don't contact you. However, my resting pulse is notoriously, since the operation, going up. Resting pulse 230, drop down to 40, and my heart's also in AF, so it's information before going on to the next stage. So I just phoned them back this afternoon. They said they were going to give it to the doctor in charge, but I think it's potentially going to have to go back to Professor Cuthbertson and the nurses, the cardiac nurses in Liverpool, coming up to 12:30. I'm knackered. I'm really knackered. I went for a little walk down Pwllheli, keep it local, and went and got a highly recommended chicken and mayo sandwich from Gwalior, lovely bakery. Lunch for my legs. Tea for my legs. We're having a chippy tonight to celebrate that I've stayed awake all day. Been up since 6. I've been quite wired, so that's normally a result of the heart resting pulse being quite high. So I've, gone off social media, stopped building Lego a while ago, and just concentrating on one thing on telly. Yeah. So I'm going to check my thighs and have a chicken pie and chips. Oh yeah.